Joby, thanks for joining us. What would you have learnt from that performance and defeat?
I think we've seen the difference between a really good side at this level and one that hasn't been good enough at times this season. I think they were way better all over the pitch in every area. Of course, that's something that first and foremost myself and the staff will look at. I'm one always for personal accountability, and certainly we'll look at everything we did leading up to the game, whether that's training, team selection, and we'll make sure we do that first. But again, for me, in terms of us on the pitch, we were just second to everything. They had a greater desire. Again, for me, Exeter are a team who do those little details well. They go up quite direct to Bowman, who's obviously a handful. We didn't deal with him first and foremost. The knock-on effect for that is then they be able to get on the second balls, which again we were reacting later to. And again, something we've really tried to work on. What that doesn't then enable us to do is get up to Danny Johnson and have the support around him that he needs, so he then becomes isolated. So listen, from front to back, just nowhere near it. We've had words, but at the same time we will have to take that responsibility and be better.
You changed personnel. Were you thinking about changing the formation?
Well, we had a little tweak in the second half. We spun the three around in midfield just to have a little bit more cover in front of the back four, because as I say, we just didn't deal with Bowman enough. Again, you have to be quite cautious at times. It was 3-0 down. It's a real fine balance in that between obviously trying to get back in, which we wanted to do to start with, and then not getting an absolute hiding, and things getting completely out of hand. So there wasn't a lot of places to go after that first half. We wanted a bit of a response. We go out and then concede a really poor penalty from our point of view. There's not much to take out of today, to be honest.
Not many positives, but I suppose Conor Wilkinson was looking out to impress off the substitutes bench. Yeah,
again, something I said in there. We wanted a response, we wanted a reaction in that second half, and I felt that he certainly gave us that today. One of the very, very few that was anywhere near his level coming on. And ultimately, he's given me something to think about, obviously coming off the back of today. Anyone else who started today is, clearly in a position where, their place is now under threat.
Lance Figueroa's had a good season, but this wasn't a good day.
No, and listen, again, I've, been in there, spoken to him, and especially as a goalkeeper, you have those moments every now and again, and we've got to be honest, for him that's been very, very few and far between. Today, I suppose that kind of summed us up a little bit. Normally someone who's been so consistent for us, but we are very much all together. There's no blame culture here. As I said, we'll take our licks. It's a real tough one to take, but there's things that we have to learn from and take from very quickly, because obviously the game's coming around quickly on Tuesday. So, for me, Lawrence has been absolutely top draw this year, one of our best performers consistently, and that wasn't the reason we lost the game.
Danny Junction, the leading marksman, as you say, looked isolated. He also looked very frustrated.
Yeah, and I get that frustration. Again, football's not as simple as sometimes just get someone up alongside him, which I know is something that is being spoken about, but we have to do that. We did it better, certainly against Grimsby, in terms of getting the two wider lads a bit more narrow. And again, we did it better in the second half once Con and Tristan came on. So again, that's something we have to look at. Once he is up there by himself, it is a frustrating job to do sometimes. So again, that is an area we have looked at and trying to sort of get to the bottom of and help resolve.
Games coming thick and fast. It's a different Stevenage side, it would seem, since the turn of the new year.
Yeah, they've obviously picked up a bit and got themselves going. So from our point of view, I said it's about how quickly we can turn this around. Again, we'll pick the bones out of that today. But I've said in there, it's a big week for us next week. I think it's going to be a real indicator of what the back end of the season can look like for us. And I want to see a reaction. I'm expecting a reaction. We've got 2 home games which I expect to take points in, albeit obviously against 2 teams that will be hard to beat. But once we've dealt with this, I want to be looking forward. I want to be positive, and I want to go and attack next week.
Finally, for me, news of Adam Thompson.
Yeah, he's had his surgery, came through it fine. So we're obviously going to be without him for the rest of the season, but the main thing is that part of the job's done for him, so now he can just focus on his recovery and his rehab.